Hello and good morning. Welcome to Matcha Mornings with Diane. I am your host, Diane. I am a dancer, performing artist based in New York City, and welcome to my podcast where I talk about all things mindfulness, life in New York as a performing artist, creativity, art, and everything in between. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my podcast. Hello, good morning. Welcome back to Matcha Mornings with Diane. Well, actually, it's no longer the morning, quite frankly. It is already the afternoon, so good afternoon. This is actually my second cup of matcha for the day. And yeah, I'm just like sitting here reflecting on this profound journey that I went on last month in March. I was able to finish the 21-day mirror work practice by Louise Hay, and it was such a profound journey. So in today's episode, I want to share what mirror work is, why it's so powerful, my personal experience with it, and what an emotional roller coaster it was, and the top 4 lessons I've learned, and yeah, also how you can possibly start your own mirror work practice. So let's get into it. So what is mirror work? It's this practice of looking into your eyes, looking into yourself in the mirror and speaking words of love, affirmation, and healing to yourself. I have been doing a lot of the inner work for the past 5 years. And, like self-love is a practice that I am constantly doing. I do it every single day. I have my own morning routine, my own morning practice. And so when I began this journey, I was like, how hard can it be? I feel like I love myself enough already. I don't think it should be that hard. I was honestly even a bit overconfident, but yeah, what I discovered is that it's so much more than the words that you speak to yourself. It's about the presence and really seeing yourself. And yeah, when you allow yourself to do that, old wounds can surface, emotions come up, and yeah, that's where the healing really happens. So yeah, my personal experience with this on the first week was actually pretty easy, although I will admit there were some days when it felt kind of silly to do mirror work and to, repeat these affirmations, saying things to myself and looking at myself in the mirror. It did feel silly on some days because there were certain days where I was instructed to say a specific affirmation at least 100 times. And yeah, I think I began to giggle and laugh at myself. And the inner critic did pop up every now and then for sure, because it really made me think oh, do I really love myself that much yet? Do I deeply love myself? So those questions definitely came up, but I think ultimately the first week was fine. And by day 7, I was this has now become second nature to me. And I feel like I can finally feel these words of love and affirmation that I say to myself and really receive it more. So it felt really good. But during week 2, this was when things got pretty emotional, because week 2 focused a lot on the deeper work. And there were days that were focused on inner child work, really looking at your limiting beliefs, your relationship with anger, and just, the practice of forgiveness. So there were definitely some days when I cried because, yeah, like these old wounds resurfaced. And yeah, I really thought I had gotten over it. But of course, like when you do things like this, when, you come face to face again with these wounds, it really tests you, and it shows you just like how much you can love yourself still, even with all of like these shadows and, these limiting beliefs that you have adopted from life experiences. And so, yeah, instead of normally, as I do, pushing them down, I really allowed myself to cry. Like I really sobbed on some days, especially on the days when I did like the inner child work stuff and, those journaling prompts. And yeah, I really just sat with the discomfort, and I allowed the mirror to hold space for me and for those parts of myself that I normally do not want to look at. So yeah, I think that was when the true healing began for me. And yeah, by the third week, I definitely started to feel the shift. I felt a lot lighter. And yeah, I just found it a lot easier for me to really say loving words to myself. And I also was a lot more forgiving towards myself, less critical. And yeah, I just saw how that also really bled into how I showed up, during the day, doing a lot of different things, but, especially in my own training as a dancer. And yeah, it really shifted, and I started to really embody and believe that, yes, I love myself, and not just, the parts of me that I think are pretty and, things that I already know, but I truly love all of myself, even the parts of me that I would normally hide from, or the parts of me that I normally don't want to see, like my shadows, that, yeah, even on bad days, I can accept who I am. And those are the days that really, really test me and encourage me to love on myself more. So, yeah, now I want to talk about the 4 lessons that I've learned from this amazing, profound journey. And yeah, the first one is self-love truly is the greatest love. It is the foundation of how we love others, how we create, how we move and show up in this world. And so, yeah, when we love ourselves, we just really begin to embody love in everything that we do. The second lesson that I learned is that self-love isn't about false positivity. It's not pretending that, there's nothing that we have to do or look into ourselves that we can improve on. It's really all about loving all of ourselves, our shadows, our limiting beliefs, the parts of ourselves that we fear. And yeah, knowing that when we allow ourselves to really look at those parts of us, that's where the healing begins. That's where growth begins. And yeah, truly, like that's how we can really see and love ourselves, when we actually learn to love those parts of ourselves instead of shaming them, because we cannot shame ourselves into evolutions. We can only love ourselves into becoming a better version of ourselves. The third lesson is that, yeah, when you are more loving and kinder to yourself, you also just become kinder to others. it's really a reminder that we are all just mirrors of each other, and that, when we love ourselves, like that love just naturally ripples outward. When we pour that love into ourselves, it will just naturally overflow. And so, yeah, like I definitely began to notice that when I started speaking kinder to myself, I had a lot more compassion towards the people around me, and I became less judgmental and critical because, yeah, I wasn't as critical towards myself anymore. The fourth lesson is very specific to me as a dancer, as an artist, and yeah, because I think for many years I actually struggled with self-loathing as a dancer. Like for many years, I had difficulty looking at myself in the mirror. Like I was so ashamed of the dancer I was seeing in front of the mirror. And I know a lot of that came from, like my own traumatic experiences, like throughout my journey in dance, which I'm not going to be elaborating on. But yeah, I think embarking on this mirror work practice like really allowed myself to see all of me and be kinder to myself. So yeah, like now, like on the bad days, I get to see myself with gentler eyes, because now I know that I am perfect as I am, and I am always a work in progress. Both of those things can be true. And yeah, like I think I also just try to not take myself as seriously anymore. Like when I make a mistake, I just end up laughing or screaming. So yeah, this mirror work journey has also really helped me truly see myself as the dancer and artist that I am, and to really love that dancer and artist that I am becoming and who I currently am as a dancer. If you're curious about trying mirror work yourself, like here's the simplest way to begin. Just find a quiet space with a mirror. This can be your bathroom. It can even be a compact mirror because, yeah, in the book, Louise Hay even encourages us to carry a compact mirror with us throughout the day so that we can practice this wherever we are throughout our day, and yeah, just really remind ourselves of, like how important and powerful this practice can be. And yeah, so look at yourself in the mirror, start saying loving things. It can be as simple as I love you, I see you, I am proud of you. And yeah, give yourself a few minutes to say those and like repeat those affirmations. And yeah, I know it can be quite silly and uncomfortable at the beginning, but I promise you that it will only get easier. It's a practice, and like with anything new, with anything that will demand us to grow, there will be a bit of discomfort. And yeah, just continue to say these loving and kind words to yourself. Your mind will eventually follow, your body will eventually like feel those words. And yeah, when uncomfortable emotions come up, let them. That is part of the release, and that is part of the work. It is part of the healing. And so yeah, do not be afraid to feel those uncomfortable emotions, because it is part of the work. It is part of truly loving all of ourselves. So yeah, if there is one thing that I can leave you guys with, it's this. Self-love is a practice. It's not a destination. It's not a hashtag. It is a choice. And it is one that we get to make every day. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope that this episode reminds you to look in the mirror, really look, see yourself with love and kindness. And yeah, if you guys are ever interested in doing mirror work, or you have done and continue to do mirror work and would love to chat, feel free to leave a comment down below or even message me on my other social media accounts. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. I am sending you so much love, and I hope to see you next time on Matcha Mornings with Diane.